Today I want to show off my Forestmen army. Now, this is a pretty diverse army, and I don't really have specific units or a specific leader or anything. It's pretty much just a diverse group of different minifigures. But yeah, and I'm also trying a new lighting setup in this video and a slightly different background. So let me know what you think. I hope that it illuminates the figures a little bit better and can show the colors a bit better than I had before. But without further ado, let's get started. Now, first I want to start off with some of the more specialized minifigures of the Forestmen army. Now, these guys are just a wild group that defends the woods in my lore, and I don't really have a specific leader or a king for these guys, but if you guys have any sort of lore for them or any ideas, let me know. Now, first I made a few blue Forestmen, and I was originally inspired because I had this Magisto torso, and I was like, that looks just like a Forestman torso. I can make a blue Forestman. And I was like, you know what? Let me just make a few blue Forestmen to change it up a little bit. For the first minifigure, we have this guy who uses this old dark Forestman torso. Now, this comes from like an $80 figure, so this is a pretty rare torso. And I decided to give him one of those rubber tipped spears and a hood with just a dark blue cloak and some blue trimmings. And overall, I think this guy looks really cool, and I think if I were to have a leader of this faction, this guy would definitely be a candidate for that slot. Now, next we have this guy with the Magisto torso, and this is just the all blue Forestman. And I did want to give him a nice white feather for some trim, and I do like to give my more important or more personalized characters longbows, as I think they work really well for a more specialized Forestman. Next, we have another Forestman, but this guy has more of a blue trim to him instead of being all blue. He's got that old school blue feather. And I made this guy blue just because I had the blue on the torso, and I thought he would look cool with a blue cloak as well as a blue mask. And once again, I gave this guy the same longbow. Next, we have a couple of Forestmen with melee weapons. Now, I mainly wanted them to be that Robin Hood archetype with the bows going through the trees, but I thought having a few melee ones for some variety would be pretty cool. To start it off, I wanted to make an armored Forestman. Now, most of my Forestmen wear pretty light armor or no armor, but I wanted to have one armored one just for fun with a sort of knight look. And if there ever is a tournament, this could be the Forestman melee champion. Next, we have this Forestman with a beard. And he is also running this rubber tip spear, which I think looks really good, along with some brown gloves. And I'm really glad that this beard piece fits with the Forestman hats, as it doesn't fit with many hats, helmets, or hairs. Next, I wanted to make sort of a dark Forestman, and I used this little dark Forestman torso that already had black on it, and I thought this hat just worked perfectly for a sort of Robin Hood feel. And I also gave him a dark green feather and black bow just to keep that darker feel. Now, for our next figure, we have this sort of dark brown Forestman, and I really like this dark brown hood and cloak combo, as well as just the little trimmings of red with some black to balance it out. I really like the color scheme of this guy, and I really think the longbow just suits him perfectly and gives him a really darker and unique look for a Forestman. For our final more specialized character, we have this character, and she uses the Series 1 Forestman torso, and I think that works so well for Forestman. I even ordered a couple more, and I really think this green and dark green color scheme just works perfectly for a more specialized Forestman longbowman. Now, next we have to talk about some of my more basic Forestmen, and although these guys don't have anything too special, I still wanted to give them as much diversity as possible, with as much different torsos and weapons and accessories as I could. Now, to start off, we have the melee Forestmen. Now, I really wanted to give these guys a more diversified look on their faces and have a combination of the old and new faces, since I had the old and new torsos. So as you can see, I gave a couple of these guys these older face prints, and I really think they work well for the Forestmen, just to give that more classic look. These guys just have some swords and spears, and as well as one of them has an axe. And I really think these Forestmen shields with that logo just looks perfect. Now, next we have the Archer Forestman. Now, there's obviously more of these guys than there is the melee Forestman, but I do want to point out the variety of torsos I used, because I have a couple of these old dark Forestman torsos, which I think look great. I also have the Forest Woman torso, as well as I threw in a variety of some old Forestman torsos mixed in with the new. I also wanted to give a variety of feathers, hats, and just different hair pieces, just because I really wanted the Forestmen to have a way more diversified look than any of my other armies, just because they're less of an army and more of a group of people who defend the forest. Finally, we have a couple of miscellaneous Forestmen, one of them being this Forestman Squire type figure with this flag and spear on his back, and the other being this Forestman Bandit who has this mask and silver knife. But I think these guys look pretty cool. So anyhow, that is it for my Forestman army. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.